Washington has taken a more assertive diplomatic step, signaling a shift in how certain international issues will be addressed. The State Department announced actions aimed at responding to foreign actors and organizations that U.S. officials say have sought to limit American influence or messaging abroad. Secretary of State Marco Rubio outlined the administration's position clearly, emphasizing defined boundaries and a firmer approach to international engagement. The announcement drew immediate attention across diplomatic circles, marking a moment where U.S. policy was presented with greater clarity and emphasis. For observers, the development suggested a renewed willingness to state positions openly and challenge practices the administration views as counter to its interests. While reactions abroad are still unfolding, the move has ensured that Washington's stance is now part of a broader global conversation. For several years, a UK-based organization known as the Global Disinformation Index has played a role in shaping discussions around online media credibility and advertiser risk. Co-founded by Clare Melford, the group has described its mission as identifying sources it considers vulnerable to misinformation, publishing assessments intended for advertisers and policymakers. The organization's use of media risk ratings drew attention in the United States, particularly because some outlets with conservative or traditional viewpoints reported being negatively classified. Critics argued that these ratings could influence advertising decisions, potentially limiting revenue for certain publications and affecting the diversity of voices in the digital media landscape. Supporters of the index said the system was designed to help advertisers avoid reputational risk, while opponents countered that the approach blurred the line between content evaluation and indirect pressure on speech. The fact that the assessments were produced by a foreign-based organization added another layer to the debate, raising questions about cross-border influence on domestic media ecosystems. Rather than a technical disagreement alone, the controversy highlighted a broader concern about how information is filtered, funded, and prioritized online. It underscored ongoing tensions between efforts to combat misinformation and the need to preserve a wide, open exchange of ideas across the media spectrum. On December 23, the United States took a formal diplomatic step through the State Department. Secretary of State Marco Rubio announced visa-related actions affecting 5 European nationals, including Clare Melford. According to the department's statement, the decision was based on concerns that certain individuals had been involved in efforts viewed by U.S. officials as pressuring technology companies in ways that could affect American media outlets. The department said the measures were intended to address what it described as inappropriate foreign involvement in domestic information and advertising ecosystems. Officials emphasized that the action reflected a broader policy stance focused on protecting national decision-making and ensuring that debates within the United States are not influenced by external actors. The move drew international attention, as visa restrictions of this nature are rarely used in disputes involving media and online platforms. Supporters of the decision described it as a clear assertion of sovereignty, while critics questioned the scope and precedent of the policy. Regardless of interpretation, the announcement marked a notable escalation in how the U.S. government is responding to concerns about cross-border influence on domestic discourse. It signaled that issues surrounding media funding, platform governance, and foreign involvement are becoming a more prominent part of diplomatic and policy discussions. The decision has prompted swift reaction within European policy circles. Some officials, including figures associated with the European Union's digital policy framework, have publicly criticized the move and raised the possibility of formal responses. As a result, analysts have begun discussing whether the dispute could place additional strain on U.S.-European relations. Those affected by the action have also indicated they may pursue legal challenges, arguing that the measures unfairly characterize their professional activities. These claims are now becoming part of a broader legal and diplomatic conversation that is unfolding on both sides of the Atlantic. U.S. officials, however, have maintained that the decision is grounded in concerns about foreign involvement in domestic media and information systems. From the administration's perspective, the action reflects an effort to reinforce national authority over how public debate and advertising practices are shaped within the United States. The situation highlights a growing global disagreement over digital governance, cross-border influence, and the limits of international oversight. As legal and diplomatic discussions continue, the central question remains unresolved: how nations balance openness with self-determination in an interconnected information environment. The outcome of this dispute may influence how those boundaries are defined going forward.